What if I told you one of the most iconic resorts in Las Vegas history is quietly becoming a tourist trap? Caesar's Palace. For decades, the name promised Roman grandeur, world-class service, and the kind of luxury that made you feel like royalty. But in 2025, that promise is breaking down. Guests are paying $300 a night only to face worn-out rooms, creeping fees, and service that feels more transactional than memorable. The palace still looks impressive from the outside, but inside the experience is fading fast. And the final reason on this list might change where you stay entirely. Number 10. Soaring room rates with fewer perks. There was a time when booking a room at Caesar's Palace felt like stepping into royalty without emptying your wallet. Reasonable rates, early check-in flexibility, maybe a complimentary coffee pod waiting in your room. Those days are gone. Today, average nightly rates regularly push past $250 to $300, and during peak weekends, you're looking at $400 or more. But here's the frustrating part. You're paying more while getting less. Guests report arriving to find no complimentary water bottles, no free coffee pods for the in-room brewer. Want to check in before 4 in the afternoon? That will cost you $35 to $65 extra, even if your room is sitting empty and ready. The little touches that once made Caesars feel special have quietly disappeared, replaced by charges for things that used to come standard. And what are you actually getting for that premium price? A room that, according to recent reviews, often feels dated, with worn furniture and underwhelming amenities. You're paying luxury rates but walking into a mid-tier experience. It's not just inflation, it's a deliberate stripping away of value. But if the room rates feel like a punch to the wallet, wait until you see what happens after you book, because the real damage starts piling up before you even step through the doors. Number 9. Mandatory fees that don't match the value. You found what looks like a decent rate online, maybe $200 a night, not cheap, but manageable. Then you get to check out, and the bill has ballooned by another $100 or more per night. Welcome to the world of mandatory fees. Caesar's Palace now charges a resort fee of over $60 per night after tax. That's not optional. That's added to every single reservation, whether you use the amenities or not. What does it include? Fitness center access, Wi-Fi for 2 devices, and local phone calls. That's it. No pool cabana access, no spa credits, no food and beverage perks, just the basics dressed up as a premium. Then there's parking. Self-parking runs $20 a day. Valet? $50. Feeling generous. Expect a tip on top of that. And if you move anything in the minibar fridge, even just to store your own leftovers, sensors may trigger an automatic restocking charge of over $20. Guests have reported being billed simply for opening the fridge door. These aren't luxury touches. They're traps designed to squeeze every last dollar from your stay. The fees add up so fast that a 3-night trip can cost you nearly $200 more than you budgeted before you've eaten a single meal. And speaking of meals, what's happening on the casino floor might frustrate you even more, because the chaos there has reached a whole new level. Number 8. Crowded casino floors that feel more chaotic than classic Caesar's Palace was once the gold standard of casino elegance. High ceilings, breathing room between tables, a sense of grandeur that made you feel like you were part of something legendary. Walk onto the floor today, and that feeling is harder to find. Guests describe a gaming floor that feels cramped and overstimulating. Slot machines packed tighter together, noise levels cranked up. The atmosphere favors churn over charm, pushing players through as quickly as possible rather than letting them settle into the experience. And the table minimums? Forget about sitting down for a casual game. Blackjack tables that once welcomed $5 or $10 bets now start at $25 minimum. And during busy nights, you'll see $50 or even $100 minimums across the floor. One guest recently noted that even with empty tables, the resort refused to lower minimums below $100 for certain games. That's not welcoming casual gamblers. That's pricing them out entirely. The result is a floor that feels less like a Roman palace and more like a crowded arcade. The magic of wandering through a grand casino, drink in hand, testing your luck at your own pace, that's been replaced by pressure, noise, and the unmistakable sense that the house wants your money fast. But the real shock hits when you try to eat, because the moment you sit down for a simple meal, you'll realize the prices make the casino floor look reasonable. Number 7. Restaurants pricing out the average visitor. Dining at Caesar's Palace used to be part of the dream. You could grab a great meal without a second thought, maybe splurge on a nice steakhouse, or simply enjoy a quick bite between shows. In 2025, that casual relationship with food is over. Guests report that even basic meals have drifted into fine dining territory. A simple cheese pizza at the food court, $60. 3 bagels and 3 cups of coffee from the cafe, over $50. A single cocktail on the floor, $25 and up. And that's before you even consider the sit-down restaurants. The famous Bacchanal Buffet, once the crown jewel of Vegas all-you-can-eat experiences, now runs between $65 and $90 per person depending on the time of day. Add taxes and tip and you're looking at well over $100 just to eat. Even Peter Luger's Steakhouse, celebrated for quality, has guests questioning whether the prices match the portions. Budget-conscious travelers, families trying to stretch their vacation dollars, and even mid-tier spenders are being priced out entirely. There's no middle ground anymore. You either pay premium prices or you skip the meal. The days of affordable indulgence at Caesars? Gone. And if the food prices don't make you question your stay, wait until you see the condition of the rooms you're paying all that money to sleep in. Number 6. Rooms showing wear. Despite premium pricing, for $300 a night plus fees, you'd expect a room that feels fresh, modern, and worthy of a legendary resort. But across review after review, guests are telling a different story. Worn furniture, dated decor, towels described as flat and rough, well past their prime, housekeeping that rushes through, leaving floors unvacuumed and details overlooked. One recent guest staying in the Palace Tower, supposedly one of the nicer options, described the furnishings as dinged up and underwhelming, despite a recent renovation. Another noted paying $300 a night only to find no bathrobes, no slippers, and no bottled water on arrival. These aren't complaints about budget rooms at a budget hotel. These are guests paying luxury rates and receiving mid-tier treatment. Some towers have been updated, like the Colosseum Tower, which received a Roman-inspired refresh in late 2023, but many guests report that even the renovated spaces feel inconsistent, with some rooms sparkling and others clearly neglected. The gap between what Caesars advertises and what guests actually experience is widening. And when you're shelling out hundreds per night, that gap doesn't just disappoint, it breeds resentment. But a tired room is one thing. What really stings is when the service that once defined this resort starts to fade. And that's exactly what's happening next. Number 5. Service levels dropping. While expectations rise, Caesar's Palace built its reputation on hospitality. Attentive staff, quick service, the kind of treatment that made guests feel like emperors regardless of their budget. In 2025, that legacy is slipping. Guests describe long check-in lines snaking through the casino, sometimes taking 30 minutes or more even with a reservation. Housekeeping requests that go unanswered for hours. Front desk interactions that feel rushed and impersonal. And when you call for help, you're more likely to reach Ivy, the resort's digital assistant, than an actual human being. One guest wrote that the property doesn't want to connect you to real people anymore. Another complained about repeatedly asking for fresh towels that never arrived. The sense of personalized care that once set Caesars apart has been replaced by automation and understaffing. It's not that the employees don't try. Many reviews still highlight individual staff members who go above and beyond, but the system around them seems stretched too thin. Fewer workers handling more guests means longer waits, less attention to detail, and a growing sense that you're just another transaction, not a valued visitor. Some travelers have reported maintenance issues dragging on for hours, with staff blaming building problems rather than offering swift solutions. When you're paying premium prices and still fighting for basic attention, that gap between expectation and reality becomes impossible to ignore. And when you're paying premium prices, that feeling of being overlooked stings even harder. But if fading service frustrates you, get ready. Because the moment you set foot inside the resort, the upselling begins, and it doesn't stop until you leave. Number 4. Upsells everywhere you turn. From the second you arrive at Caesar's Palace, the sales pitches start. Want to check in early? That's a fee. Prefer a room with a view? Upgrade charge? Hoping to grab a lounge chair by the pool? Rentals only. Even the couches near the water, the kind you'd expect to simply sit on and relax, now come with price tags. Guests describe feeling like every interaction is designed to extract more money. The app pushes room upgrades. The front desk offers premium packages. The pool staff directs you to cabanas and daybeds that cost extra. Even the minibar is rigged with sensors waiting to charge you for the slightest movement. One visitor summed it up bluntly: "We constantly felt like our pockets were being fleeced." This relentless upselling breaks the illusion of luxury. Instead of feeling pampered, guests feel hunted. Instead of relaxation, there's exhaustion from dodging sales tactics. Need extra Wi-Fi connections beyond the two included in your resort fee? That will cost you nearly $15 more. Want coffee pods for the in-room brewer that doesn't come stocked? $25 for a pack of 4 from the minibar. Every small comfort has been converted into a revenue opportunity. The Roman palace fantasy that Caesars spent decades building crumbles when every moment feels transactional. And for longtime visitors who remember a different era, the contrast is jarring. They came expecting the Caesars of old. What they found was a resort that treats hospitality like a series of add-on purchases. But the upsells aren't even the biggest betrayal for loyal guests, because what's happening to the rewards program might be the final straw. Number 3. Casino comp cuts driving loyal gamers. Away for years, Caesars Rewards was one of the best loyalty programs in Las Vegas. Play regularly, earn points, and watch the comps roll in. Free rooms, dining credits, priority lines. It made loyal guests feel appreciated, and it kept them coming back year after year. In 2025, that relationship is fracturing. Longtime players report drastic reductions in comps despite consistent play. Room offers that once came monthly have dried up. Dining credits have shrunk, and the tier requirements to unlock meaningful benefits have quietly climbed higher. One diamond status. Member described reaching elite level only to see their comps vanish entirely. Another longtime visitor noted that offers, which once included multiple free nights per week, have been cut to nothing. Caesars has also ended partnerships that previously gave members shortcuts to elite status, forcing players to earn every tier credit the hard way. The message is clear: loyalty is no longer rewarded the way it used to be. For casual gamblers, this might not matter much, but for the dedicated players who built their Vegas routines around Caesars properties, the sting is personal. They feel like the program that once valued them now takes them for granted. And when loyalty stops feeling rewarded, players start looking elsewhere. But the comp cuts are just a symptom of something deeper, because behind all these changes is a fundamental shift in how Caesars Palace operates, and that shift is impossible to ignore. Number 2, a shift toward maximizing revenue over guest experience. There's a reason all of this is happening. The layoffs, the fees, the vanishing perks, the relentless upsells. It's not random, it's strategy. Caesars Entertainment inherited significant debt following its 2020 merger, and ever since, the pressure to maximize revenue has reshaped the guest experience from the inside out. The focus has shifted from creating memorable stays to extracting maximum value from every visitor who walks through the door. You see it everywhere. In the $60 resort fees for basic amenities, in the aggressive pricing at restaurants, in the reduced staffing that leaves guests waiting longer for less, in the sensor-equipped minibars ready to charge you for moving a bottle. The iconic Roman palace magic that defined Caesars for decades is being quietly replaced by corporate efficiency metrics, and guests can feel it. Review after review mentions the same theme. This place no longer feels like it cares about the experience. It feels like it cares about the transaction. When a legendary resort starts treating visitors like revenue units instead of guests, something essential dies. The soul of the brand fades, and no amount of marble columns or toga-clad cocktail servers can bring it back. Which brings us to the real question, the one every traveler planning a Vegas trip needs to ask themselves before booking. Number 1. Caesars Palace no longer feels worth the price. This is the core of everything. Strip away the fees, the dated rooms, the fading service. What you're left with is a simple equation. Does Caesars Palace deliver enough value to justify what it costs? For a growing number of guests, the answer is no. You can pay $300 a night at Caesars and deal with worn furniture, surprise charges, and service that feels stretched thin. Or you can walk down the strip and find competitors offering fresher rooms, better perks, and a guest experience that doesn't feel like a constant shakedown. The Venetian, the Cosmopolitan, even some of the newer off-strip resorts. They're pulling visitors who once would have booked Caesars without a second thought. What makes this so painful is the legacy. Caesars Palace isn't just any hotel. It's an icon. It's where legends performed, where movies were filmed, where the very idea of Las Vegas luxury was born. To watch that legacy fade behind a wall of fees and cost-cutting feels like losing something irreplaceable. Can Caesars turn it around? Maybe. But until prices drop, service returns, and the guest experience becomes the priority again, booking here feels less like a vacation and more like a gamble you're destined to lose. What do you think? Is Caesars Palace still worth it? Or has the dream faded for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this video opened your eyes, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.